Okay, so there's a multi-front war exploding in the Middle East, and it is moving fast. But the real story here isn't just about the missile strikes you're seeing in the headlines. It's about the staggering, hidden costs in lives, in dollars, and in global stability. So let's break down what's really at stake here. First things first, let's talk about the human cost. In just the first few days of these US and Israeli bombardments, the minimum death toll inside Iran has already shot past 1,000. That's over 1,000 lives already lost.
So, you might be wondering, what does this whole conflict zone actually look like? Well, this isn't some single front line, not at all. It's a coordinated campaign. You've got US and Israeli forces hitting targets all across Iran, and at the very same time, Israel is also striking inside Lebanon. The whole thing is getting wider and more complex by the hour.
But how did we get here? And how did the US get so involved so quickly? Well, the answer actually lies thousands of miles away, with a critical decision made in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, check out this vote. 53 to 47. The U.S. Senate voted against a resolution that would have curbed the president's military powers in this situation. That vote, that was basically a green light from Washington to escalate the campaign.
And what about the rest of the world? Well, after the strikes began, President Trump was quick to tweet about massive-scale support from NATO. Now, while NATO wasn't directly involved in the fighting, the political message coming out of Washington was crystal clear. Our allies are on board with this.
Okay, but this isn't just a war of missiles and bombs. It's now threatening to choke off one of the most critical economic lifelines on the entire planet.
And just listen to how direct this threat is. This is a quote from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. They put out this warning saying any vessel, military, commercial, doesn't matter, from the US, Israel, or their allies will be targeted if they try to go through the Strait of Hormuz. It's incredibly blunt.
And just to prove they weren't bluffing, the IRGC almost immediately claimed they'd already hit a US tanker. So yeah, the economic part of this war, it has absolutely begun.
All of this comes with an absolutely insane price tag. And I'm not just talking about military spending, but the real cost of destruction. So let's dig into these numbers.
All right, first, a really crucial piece of context here. Israel has one of the most advanced air defense systems in the entire world. Seriously, it intercepts the vast majority of incoming missiles. But that kind of protection is not cheap.
$2 billion. That's the estimated cost of damage inside Israel per week. And that's even with their incredible defenses. It comes from the few missiles that do get through, and even from the debris of all the ones they successfully shoot down. $2 billion a week.
So, okay, that's the financial cost in Israel. Now let's switch gears and look at the physical reality on the ground in Iran. The scale here is, well, it's just staggering. We're talking over 1,300 documented attacks at more than 600 separate locations, hitting 174 different cities.
So what exactly are these targets? Well, according to the Iranian Red Crescent, the targets include at least 105 civilian sites. This isn't just about military infrastructure. We are talking about medical facilities, Red Crescent aid buildings, and essential services that everybody needs to live, like water and electricity plants.
So as you can see, this is clearly spilled way beyond just a regional conflict. The shockwaves are now hitting the entire world, messing with travel, with economies, you name it. Just look at what's happening to air travel. It's basically a global aviation blackout in the region. You've got major carriers like Qatar, Turkish Airlines, and Air France just canceling flights and suspending routes left and right. Emirates is only flying on very limited, safe corridors. The skies over the Middle East are pretty much shutting down.
And the effects just keep spreading. Global energy prices are spiking. You've got countries as far away as Australia deploying military assets to the region, just as a precaution. And at the same time, you hear these desperate pleas for de-escalation from regional players like Oman, just begging, let's stop this war now. So let's just recap. We have a war that's expanding at an absolutely terrifying speed. It has a devastating human cost, a massive economic fallout, and it's pulling global powers into the fray. All of this just leads us to one central, really unsettling question. With everything escalating this fast, what on earth happens next?